Well, there you see it, the rolling wheat fields of eastern Washington. And there is the scoreboard at Roos Field in Cheney. We're still a few months away from football on the Inferno. But today, the 4th day of February, the first Wednesday in February, is once again National Letter of Intent Signing Day. This is the second of 2 signing periods, but we'll be going over everybody who signed their names to letters of intent for Eastern Washington University in the December signing period as well as here today. I'm Lary Weir. We're going to be joined throughout this broadcast by all of the Eastern assistant coaches that are going to come in, talk about the guys that they signed in their position, and at the end we'll chat with head coach Aaron Best about what they accomplished so far here in this signing period and maybe if there's still some holes available. Is this it for Eastern, or do they still have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or maybe more players that they want to try to bring in between now and the start of spring practice? A special day for all the young men who have signed letters of intent, a special day for their parents, special day for the coaching staff as well, and we're back to talk about it all. Coming up right after this timeout, we'll bring in offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach Mark Anderson right after this timeout here on SWX. The locker room here at Eastern Washington University. That's where we are broadcasting here this afternoon for our football signing day special. And joining us now, wide receiver coach Casey Brink, who has 5 new players that we're talking about today. And let's kick it right off, Coach, with your young man out of Oregon that set some Oregon State records this year. He's a big receiver with quite a radius for receiving the football, and that's Oliver Lupkert.
Yeah, we're really, really excited about Oliver. He was a guy we were on really early in the process, and just like a lot of the guys we'll talk about today, came in and earned it at camp. Had a great performance, balled out here, offered him at camp, and committed on the spot. So that was really, really exciting for us. And then he went and had a very special senior year, state player of the year, broke several records. We could, if we talk through all the accolades, we'd probably take up most of the show. But he, special young man, really, really excited to have him.
And you had to fend off the 2 big schools in the state there at the end that came in on him and wanted to bring him in as a walk-on.
Yes, sir. Yep, glad to have him.
So Oliver Lupkert is number 1, and then a guy that has probably as much of an athletic background as anybody in this class. His brother is an NBA star with the Orlando Magic, and that's Leo Bancaro, who's coming in out of O'Dea High in Seattle. And with Coach Kohler, you don't get a whole lot of work if you're a wide receiver. Your work is blocking. You're not catching so much. Right. But you saw enough out of this young man to make you want him in as an Eagle. Yeah,
another guy we were on early in the process. Really, really excited about him. Like you said, athletic family. He's really long, athletic, has a great wide receiver skill set. Back-to-back state champs. And like you said, shout out Coach Kohler, continuing to build our O'Dea pipeline every year.
And as a wide receiver, you guys expect these guys to block. So in this particular offense and with this particular team, you're getting a good blocker as a wide receiver.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's going to come in being a product of O'Dea, a more complete football player, which always excites us.
Talked with Coach Anderson about Brady Annette maybe being an under-recruited player, and Bennett Juve, a young man out of Arizona that's coming in. He may also be under-recruited, in part because he was injured this past year for much of the year.
Yep, like you said, he spent a lot of the year banged up, but came back late in the year and helped Gilbert Christian make a playoff run towards the end there. Another guy that we were a little late on, but a guy that earned it at camp. He was on our radar. We got to see him out on the recruiting trail in person in Arizona, and then at a couple camps around here. And by the end of it, I was walking out of the camp, and I didn't want to leave there without offering him a spot here. So fired up about him. A little bit different skill set than Oliver and Leo. He's got some twitch and some productivity that's going to be really good in the slot for us.
And how important for you is seeing these guys at camp?
Very, very. It confirms what we see on film. And it's a big, big part of the process for us.
All right, 2 transfers coming in from 4-year schools, both guys that really contributed toward the end of their seasons, especially in part because of injury, especially with the first guy we're going to talk about, and that's Jemai East out of Oregon State University. Last game of the year against Washington State, he ended up with 5 catches for 56 yards in that ball game, and this is a big guy, 6'1", 210 pounds, big physical receiver.
Yep, like you said, spent some of the year banged up, came back from injury, came on late in a big, big way. Like you said, the last game against Washington State, he had a big game. He was flying around the field, blocking well, catching passes, making plays. And that game really, really fired us up about him. Also came highly recommended from Pat McCann as his coach at Oregon State. So lots of connections there. Originally a California kid, a JUCO kid, has kind of been finding his way through the process. So we're excited that he's home now.
People who don't know, Pat McCann was a former assistant here at Eastern Washington as well as being at Fresno State now. And the last guy we'll talk about is Trenton Swanson. He comes to Eastern out of Camas High School, but University of Idaho most lately. And this is a guy, again, toward the end of the regular season. He had catches in each of the last couple of ball games for Idaho, but throughout the year he contributed in special teams for them.
Correct. Really excited about Trenton. He was a starter on all 4 special teams units at Idaho. He actually led their team in special teams tackles. So he's a physical kid, like you said, with some of these other guys, can block on the perimeter, which is big for us, and can also make big-time plays at receiver as he was contributing down the stretch at University of Idaho. Originally Washington guy at Camas High School, so excited to get him back home too.
And so that is the 5 receivers that we're bringing into this class. Coach, thanks for the time.
Yeah,
appreciate you coming in. All right, when we come back, that's only part of the pass catchers at Eastern Washington University coming in because there's some tight ends. They don't give Coach York the shiny football. They make him hold the sledgehammer. All right, we'll get Austin York coming up in just a moment or two here on the Eastern Football Coaches Signing Show here on SWX. All right, we're at the locker room here at Eastern Washington University, football locker room. You see some of the lockers with the names of the players that are returning here in the 2026 season. Tight ends coach Austin York joins us now. And, Coach, you've got 3 tight ends coming into the fold here, 2 high school players, 1 junior college player, the JC player already on campus. We'll talk about him in a moment, but let's start with your high school guys and start with a young man out of the state of Arizona in Camden Siegel, who is a guy that can play. You can line him up wide. You can put him on the line as a tight end. You can run him as an H-back. You can send him down the seam. He's a willing blocker. This is a guy you got to be excited about.
Yeah, we're super fired up about Cam. Common theme, as you know, with us, another camp product. Came to our camp, but Cam was an all-state player, playing a lot of really good football in Phoenix area. So we're super excited about Cam. Like I said, he earned it at camp. You move him around, you can put him in the box, you can do it all over. As you know, with me, Larry, we're big on violence and versatility, and that's what Cam speaks to.
And
he's versatile.
We're going to see him here doing a number of things. One here is that little reception there for a touchdown, but this is a guy, you'll see it here in this clip, he is a very willing blocker. You talk about the violent, and you see him just going from one to getting to the next man.
Yep, and Cam loves football. He loves football. He loves everything about football. He was a guy who didn't know if he was going to split out in his college career or not, or move in the box, and once he decided to come into the box, he's put on the weight, he's attacked it, and we're super excited.
Athleticism, is that maybe the big thing for you? Is that what was the big draw?
Yeah, I'd say athleticism and versatility, and then like you said, the willingness, and then how violent can they be in their college career.
All right, let's talk about another high school player that's coming in. That is Cody Gasling.
Yeah, Cody Gasling out of Yakima. As you know, not our only Yakima product. One of them playing this weekend, different high school. But Cody earned it at camp. Came to our junior day, came to campus multiple times. Couldn't be more excited about Cody. He was an all-state linebacker in the state of Washington, which is really impressive for him to do it on both sides of the ball. But Cody, we're really excited.
Could this be a young man that maybe is a little bit of a fullback type thing, H-back type at 6'2", 230 with that linebacker history?
Yeah, he probably makes his money off the ball first, similar to a couple of our guys. Off the ball first, then really expand the inline game. But like I said, camp product. If you look at it, 9 out of our last 11 signing classes have had a tight end who've came to our big man camp. If you take just scholarship guys, it's 10 straight, which is pretty impressive. And so that's how important our big man camp is, because we put them in pads and do all things tight end.
On campus right now is a junior college tight end that has come in Will McKissick.
Yeah, Will coming from 2 really good programs. St. John Bosco High School, won a state championship there, as they do many years, and then was a runner-up in the 3C2A state championship game at the JC level. So Will knows how to win football games, and he's shown that early on, shooting month and a half in, but doing a really, really good job of attacking the weight room, doing all that sort of stuff. But Will, his love for football shines every single day.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Thanks for coming in.
Yep.
That is tight end coach Austin York. When we come back, we move from the receivers who block to the guys that just block. We don't give them a chance to catch the ball. That is Chad Germer. He'll talk about 3 high school offensive linemen coming in after this timeout here on our signing day special on SWX. All right, that's the shiny football that we referred to earlier. They will not be playing with one of those when Eastern has their home opener the first Saturday in September on Roos Field in Cheney as they take on Northern Iowa. They begin the season the last Saturday in August against Northern Arizona. Big Sky Conference action to start the season. Chad Germer, the offensive line coach, joins us now. 3 high school players coming in, Coach, as we talk about these guys and all these 3 players signed in the December signing period. Let's start with Nate Cervantes. What drew you to him?
Well, like all these guys, we were able to see them at a number of camps, not only in the summer but in the spring. So we started recruiting these guys about now of a year ago, and even a little bit before that. So we were able to see Nate at some showcases, and then also saw him this summer at a couple camps, and like all 3 of these guys are top of the board type guys. Felt like they're the best kids at camp, and so we're super excited about Nate. And he's got a great personality, good family, and they're all in. We're excited to be Eagles.
Is he a tackle? Is he a guard? Where do you see him?
Nate's close in size to being able to physically play early, and I think he's probably an interior guy, and that's where he performed best at camp, was inside, both at center and guard. And he played tackle this fall, but I feel like he's a bona fide guard center type.
Brings some maybe versatility as well. He might be able to play maybe all the positions if you need him to at some point. All right, let's talk about an in-state product, Ted Kurau.
Yeah, another guy that was at camps. Saw him in the spring, and he was actually MVP of our camp this summer, and super athletic kid, very good feet, and awesome dude, team leader type personality. So super excited about Ted.
Probably a tackle.
Yeah, Ted's got. He's gonna grow, but he's got a great frame, and he's gonna be a big kid, and we feel like he's got the feet to play on the edge.
All right, and then finally we'll talk Blake Spear. What do you see about Blake as we see him there and the size that he brings to the program?
Another tackle. Blake is a little closer weight-wise and getting bigger by the minute, and so we're excited about him. Another guy we were able to see at a number of camps and showcases throughout the year, and feel like he's going to be a really good Eagle for us.
Did you want to bring in more tackles than interior linemen this year? Is this how it worked out?
That's always kind of the focal point is tackles, just because they're a little bit more rare. What excites me is we brought in 5 guys last year, and there's some tackles in that group, and now another 2 potential tackles this year, and only losing 2 guys. We're able to build our numbers up a little bit from the front end.
Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks for
coming
out.
That was awesome. Appreciate it.
Chad Germer there with us, and when we come back, we're talking running backs. There, they let the running back. He's got to be carrying the ball. It's Coach Tamarick Pierce. We'll talk to him coming up in just a moment here on the Signing Day Special on SWX. All right, that's outside of Roos Field. Some of the greats that have played in an Eastern uniform over the years. Big Ed Simmons there, among others. There's J.C. Sherritt. And one of the murals outside Roos Field in Cheney. Joining us now, another guy that played at Eastern Washington University, played very well at Eastern. Tamarick Pierce, he is the running backs coach. So let's talk about your running backs. And you didn't have to go far outside the family to find the first guy we're going to talk about. His brother's already on the team, and Nate Bell. It is Jackson Bell.
Yes, Jackson, we're happy to get him. Obviously, having Nate on the team kind of helped us, but Jackson is his own guy. Own character, truly special to have him. Kind of more of your, for those that kind of watch old Pac-12 ball, the Rogers brothers is his comp to me. Plays physical, runs through a lot of stuff, catches the ball well out the backfield, dynamic return, does everything that you kind of ask of him in a running back. So fired up to get him. Couldn't be more excited to add another Bell brother.
5'6", so he's not the biggest dog in the fight, but
that heart is pretty big there. So and that's what we look for. So he's truly plays bigger than what he is. So. And
you can see his speed there with what he's done and in his high school career. So he's coming to town, and you brought in another guy with a little different skill set maybe, and DeMarcus Barnes. And this is a young man that played some in a slot. He's got speed to burn. Oh, yeah, he does have speed. We're fired up to get him as well, adding 2 guys that can come in and contribute to the room right away. So fired up to get him. You look at his tape, and he does just about a little bit of everything. Plays slot, plays outside, plays running back.
was his team MVP for the season. So everybody on his team thinks highly of him. And so he's a good guy, great addition to the room, kind of a jack of all trades. So we'll see where we kind of line him up and put him in different spots going forward, but fired up to get him too.
Being as how he has played some as receiver, is pass pro going to be maybe his big challenge coming into the program?
I wouldn't say biggest challenge, but I think that's all with, young guys coming into programs, is getting the pass pro down. But that's something we work in detail every day. So we'll get them up here early, kind of get them in the room, get them with other guys that's kind of been in the system already, and get them in pass pro. So that won't be a problem for him or Jax even. Both of them, I think it's pass pro is more of a mentality more than anything. So when they both have that dog mentality that I look for in a running back.
All right, that is running backs coach Tamarick Pierce. I said this to him a few times, or when he was playing. I didn't say it to him, but giddy up horse.
Hell yeah.
There he goes. So
I don't know about that.
There he goes.
Hey, he got me fired up, Eagle Nation.
All right, there is Eric Sanders. He's the defensive coordinator. We're talking defense coming up after this timeout on the signing day special here on SWX. All right, welcome back here. Defensive coordinator Eric Sanders joins us to talk as a whole about the defense. Coach, you bring back a lot of experienced guys on your defense, and so when you were looking at recruiting for this year, was there anything in particular you're looking at as far as maybe needing a couple of plug-and-play guys here and there, or freshmen because we've got depth in other positions?
Yeah, we certainly have a lot of talent coming back, a lot of guys that have played in games for us and played well. Really excited about the level of ability on the defense coming back. But we've lost some veteran players, and not just guys that started, but guys that were key contributors as backups. And so we definitely tried to bring in a couple transfers that could help us right away, guys that have been developed in a college weight room. But the lifeline of our program is always high school kids coming in and developing them. We consistently feel like those are our best players that learn how to work how we like to work and learn how to execute the defense from day one.
And I think maybe the biggest additions here are coming at the linebacker position, because you have two guys who've started in the Big Sky Conference, in Mason Hitchens and L.J. Roberts, who are coming in, and they're going to give you veteran depth at a position where you return some good, very good players, but maybe you didn't have as much veteran depth maybe coming back.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to look at that. One, really excited to bring in 160 Big Sky tackles from last season. That's exciting that Coach Padilla was able to, develop a relationship with those guys rather quickly and convince them that we were the spot for them. But secondarily, you need more than two linebackers at any time, even if we only have two on the field. And special teams, those kids are the heart of special teams. And so really excited to be able to add them.
Coach, we appreciate you coming out here. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, so now we've got a big weekend if you're an Eagle fan, because we've got players on each end of the Super Bowl here. We've got an Eagle in the Super Bowl. We've got a Patriot in the Super Bowl. But if you're an Eagle in the Super Bowl and an Eagle fan, you can go to eaglefootballnetwork.org/cup giveaway. And you can donate now to the Eagle Football Network to earn your chance to win an authentic Cougar Cup signed Seahawks jersey. You get one entry for every $10 you donate. The donation period will be closed at 10 a.m. Friday morning. That's February 6th. At that point, a winner will be selected at random. The jersey will then be overnighted, so you can wear it for the big game. Or, if you don't want to risk spilling salsa or cheese dip or something like that on the jersey where you have to wash it, because it is signed on the one. You've got the Cooper Cup name on it. You can just put it in glass and put it on your wall. Maybe that'll be better. All proceeds of this donation directly helps Eastern Washington University football through the Eagle Football Network as they donate to within the program. So, again, it's eaglefootballnetwork.org/cup-giveaway to donate. And remember, the more donations, the more entries, and the more you buy, the better chance your opportunity is to win. All right, let's talk with defensive line coach Jalen Johnson now. 5 players coming into this program, Coach. Let's start with a very athletic defensive end out of high school in Devin Chapel Love.
Oh, yeah. Devin Chapel, he's going to be the celebrity of the group. He's going to be the guy with the Instagram followers and the Twitter followers. But, great kid overall and really exciting football player. So we're excited to add him to the group.
He's a young man that is, the athleticism that's the big draw here, right?
Oh, yeah. A player that can play in space. He plays linebacker, kind of the Sam position for his high school, so that'll translate well for us in our outside linebacker position. He'll be able to do a lot of different things, whether that's drop into coverage, rush the passer, but then we feel like he'll grow into a player that can set the edge eventually. So.
And that's what you're looking for is finding those guys that can play multiple areas on the defense, whether it's setting the edge or doing what he's doing right here, and that's getting after the quarterback, trying to get outside the pocket. So Devin Chappell-Love coming into the program, another high school player that's coming in, and in fact he's already here. Coming in out of high school, he is a defensive tackle who is fairly low to the ground, and that is Ben Tamifuna.
Oh, yeah. So, Ben, we're keeping the pipeline strong with Centennial High School. Always going to go to one of the best schools in the nation, but, you know, special relationship with Ben and his family. His dad actually coached me while I was in high school, which is awesome. You know, we're adding a dude who has played in the big moments. He's a very good run defender. Maybe we'll turn him into a bull rush pass rusher, but very excited for what he can do in his position, and he'll add some really solid depth to the room.
And that's a position of need for depth in 2026, right? Because you lose a guy or two. You still have Isaiah Perez. You still have Justice Laulu in the program. But, you know, there's this young man, being as how he's here now, will have a chance to contribute in the fall, I would think.
Yes, sir. I mean, anytime you get a chance to get in with the guys and get around their leadership, get in with the winner's strength and conditioning, get ahead in the playbook, that really sets them up well for fall camp.
All right, then we go from California into the state of Washington for Silas Stuman, who's coming into the program. There you see him, another interior lineman at 6'4", 280 pounds.
Oh, yeah. So Silas, man, he's a dude. I've actually seen him multiple times in the state of Washington at various camps. So I kind of knew what he was about, what he could do. Seeing him come, you know, visit us for a game day visit and letting them be around the guys, they were also pretty excited. You know, he's got a different buzz about him. They're like, he's a defensive lineman. So we're excited to add somebody in state.
And then a third interior lineman, I believe, coming in. And help me out here. I got to make sure that I'm pronouncing this name right. You told me earlier, and I got to make sure I got this. Kaio Finau?
Kaio Finau, yes, sir.
All right, very good. Tell us about Kaio.
So Kaio, he is coming from the Bay Area, and he's a kid that I've seen in early spring, you know. So I went to see him, and, you know, immediately he stood out to me. He's got juice to him. He's got size. And I told the high school coach, like, let's talk about this guy, you know. Kyle's a kid who really recruited himself. When we filled up in spots early in summer, he stayed on my line consistently. Coach, this is the update with my grades. Coach, this is where I'm at in terms of playing. And so we kept that relationship strong, and he's got a great family. It's been fun to recruit him, especially late in the process.
And then finally, let's talk a little bit about Carson Moore. What can you tell us about him?
So Carson, man, he's a fun kid. All of these guys are fun kids, you know. They all have good personalities. Carson is more from, you know, Palos Verdes, California, and he played some high-level ball with his coaches at Bakersfield College. So he'll be an immediate impact, a guy who's already got the size, already has the college experience. And we're excited about what he can do, especially affecting the quarterback.
All right, very good. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach Jalen Johnson here talking about the defensive line. When we come back, we'll talk safeties and special teams. That is Zach Bruce, the safeties and special teams coach. He's next on our Football Signing Day special here on SWX. All right, the outside of Roos Field, more of the murals of the great players who have played at Eastern Washington University over the years. And we have a player who played at Eastern Washington University right here beside me. Zach Bruce, safeties coach and special teams coach here. And, Coach, let's talk about the one safety that you have so far this season that signed, and that is Jaden Woodland, who comes from a high school where you have another Eagle who currently contributes at the same position.
Yeah, Puyallup High School, you know, coming from same school as Josiah Good, and, you know, he played all right this year. So we're hoping that Jaden can come here and kind of follow in those footsteps, and not just of Josiah. We have a pretty good pipeline of Washington defensive backs here now, and we want to really make a point to take the best guys in our state, and Jaden Woodland is that. You're going to watch his tape, and he's a two-way player. He doesn't just play safety. He plays corner. He plays receiver. You're watching him play at the highest level in the state of Washington and be really successful on both sides of the ball. So we love what he brings to the table. We've actually kind of recruited him at a couple different spots. We talked about, can he play corner, can he play nickel, and ultimately decided on being a nickel and a safety for us.
And this is a guy that played at one of the most successful high schools in the state at Puyallup, and he plays a position where you've got some guys right now, but that nickelback spot might be a spot for him, kind of with Bryce Smith out there. We'll have to wait and see what you do with him, and that's kind of one of the exciting things. You maybe don't know exactly what you're going to be able to do with him yet.
Yeah, 100%. That's those are the kind of guys that I like to recruit, as guys that are very versatile. We can plug them in as safety. Maybe they can play weak safety, strong safety, or nickel. In the last couple of years, whether it be Derek Ganter or Bryce Smith in the last season, we've had some young guys that have come in and made an impact early. We think he might have a shot to do the same.
All right, let's talk special teams now. As the Eagles losing a long snapper, they're losing a punter, and next year they'll lose a place kicker, and so you bring in a pretty darn good one in Morgan Dotson out of the Tri-Cities, Chiawana High School.
Yeah, same thing as the DB world. You know, I think Morgan is the best kicker in the state of Washington, and with the departure of Hunter McKee, you know, we kind of got back in the game. We didn't really have an opportunity for a kicker like Morgan to come in until that happened, and then once it did, you know, Morgan kind of had his sights set on a school out east, and so we you know, made it a point to try to go get the best kicker in the state and make sure that he comes home, and he's an hour and a half away from home. So you watch the tape, and he can obviously kick, but one of the fun parts about Morgan is that he didn't come off the field for Chiawana. He's an all-league tight end, he's an all-league D end, and also he kicks. So I think the only time he wasn't on the field for Chiawana High School was on kickoff return.
So this is the guy that you may have to say, hey, look on these kickoffs. You don't necessarily need to go down there and make the tackle there. We've had a few of those guys that like to go in and make the tackle as the kicker. You don't need your kicker necessarily making the tackle in special teams. Lose the long snapper, so you bring in a guy out of Central Washington University who started there in Bennett Neild.
Yeah, it was with the departure of Tyson, it was super important that we go find somebody that was a vet and had some experience. And he's been a 3-year starter at Central Washington and been really successful there. You know, he's played in Big Sky games where, you know, this last season he played against Montana. So he has, you know, 3 or 4 games where he's played at our level, and he has tape of doing that. So we feel really confident in Bennett coming in and potentially being the guy to take over that spot. And I actually sent him this video earlier. He joked with me. He's got a pick 6 on his high school tape, so he told me that we left that out. So I gotta let everybody know he's an athlete. He's not just a long snapper.
Outstanding. All right, Zach, appreciate the time. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
All right, when we come back, we will talk about linebackers here, as we've got Caleb Padilla getting ready to join us here. We've got 3 new Eagles coming in, and we'll talk about that coming up in just a moment or two here on the Signing Day Special here on SWX. Welcome back. Eastern Washington Football Signing Day Special here on SWX. Caleb Padilla, the linebacker coach, joins us now. Coach, 2 transfers coming into the program. Let's start with a high school player out of the state of Arizona in Jamison Wade.
Yeah, we're super fired up about Jamison. You know, looking for guys that, you know, check the boxes from a, you know, reliability standpoint and competitive standpoint, I think, first and foremost. And he, you know, was really kind of knocking that out of the park through our recruiting process, and was definitely one of the better linebackers in his region. You know, down there in Arizona in the Phoenix area, was super productive, had over 100 tackles. He's a guy that really loves football, and it's really obvious through the recruiting process just that he was a guy that was going to fit our room and, you know, not only be a good fit for the guys that are currently in the room, but also add to, you know, where we can go in the future with it.
And probably a little under-recruited as well.
Yeah, you know, you kind of never know how the recruiting process is going to play out, and I think we hit a spot where we got on him a little bit later in the process, and he, you know, probably was hoping to get a little bit more action than he did at a certain time, and, you know, it's about, you know, maximizing on the opportunities you get, and I think we both felt like we're kind of the right fit for each other at that moment, so super excited about him.
All right, and then 2 transfers coming into the program. Let's start with Mason Hitchens. He comes out of Weber State, where he was their leading tackler this past season.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it? Yeah, you know, having a guy that's already, you know, led you know, a Big Sky program in tackles, I think, you know, says a lot to his capabilities. We had a coach on our staff that had, you know, worked, you know, with him at Weber. One of our players on our roster is good friends with him through high school, so we kind of, you know, had some connections that way with him, and it was really obvious when he came up here that he was, you know, really serious about finding the right opportunity that was going to maximize, you know, his last, you know, season of eligibility, and got him around our guys, and I think he's going to be a really good fit for the people in the room and the defense overall. But to be able to bring in a guy that's, already proven it, already done that in the Big Sky, man, it's super exciting for us.
And another guy coming into the program in L.J. Roberts. This is a 5'10 guy, so a shorter guy. Was at Sac State, but also last year at Portland State, and he was the fourth leading tackler at PSU last year.
Yeah. LJ's got some juice to him, man. He can get up underneath guys and block destruction. He really bursts and closes space when he's tracking. I think having 3 years of eligibility with him is a really big deal. We kind of wanted to get a transfer that had maybe a year or two, and another one that had more eligibility than that. So it really worked out well with these two guys. Same thing. You turn on tape, you see him, making plays against the Grizz and other people in our program or in our conference that we know it's important for us to be able to compete at the highest level against. So feel really comfortable about the person and the player we're getting with them.
Yeah, Roberts had 4 tackles for loss in a game against Montana this season. So, Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
That's Caleb Padilla, the linebacker coach, and there is Wes Nurse. He is the corners coach. We've got 4 cornerbacks to talk about next here on SWX. All right, welcome back. Eastern Washington University starting 2026 football season in August this season at Northern Arizona with the Big Sky Conference game. And joining us now, cornerbacks coach Wes Nurse, where we talk 2 high school signings and 2 4-year transfers into this program. Let's start with the high schoolers, coach. They're both out of the state of Washington. Israel Neighbors out of Sumner High School, and Eastern's had 1 or 2 players out of Sumner here in recent years.
Yeah, no, we've had some good success with those guys, and Israel falls right in line with those guys. He's a guy that we identified early on. He was actually at Garfield High School to begin with, then ended up at Sumner. So he's a kid that showed some great progression here the last couple of years and became an all-state player this year as a cornerback and all-league player as a running back. So he's a guy that has a lot of versatility to him, and he plays with a lot of grit. And so he's a kid that I'm very proud of in the sense of seeing his growth from when he was a freshman to now, and looking forward to him being an Eagle.
So there is one high school player out of a very successful program in the state of Washington, and the next young man we're going to talk about is another very successful high school player out of another very good program in Federal Way, Zamari Tellez.
Yeah, no, we've done pretty well over there too as well. They've been known for football for the last couple of years, and obviously one of our better players, Jan Jenkins, from the same high school. And Zamari actually set the school record for interceptions this year with 15, and has a career total touchdown record of about 40 touchdowns. So he's a guy that's done very well and became an all-state first-team receiver in 3A this year as well.
I read something about this young man. I don't know how correct it is or if I misread it, but what I read was he did not allow a catch in the 2025 season. Is that correct, or was it just not a touchdown catch?
No, he did not allow 1 catch on the year. So
that's not too bad when you can not allow a catch when you're a cornerback. I don't know that I've heard of that stat before. All right, 2 transfers coming in, Coach. Let's start with Jordan Piero.
Yeah, Jordan Piero comes to us by way of La Tech in Fresno. He's from the Fresno area. His dad is a head high school coach down in the Fresno area, so he's been around football his whole life. He's a kid with exceptional explosiveness to him and football IQ. When he came here, very mature kid, just wanted the opportunity to play football, and that's the biggest thing. A guy that has the ability in the world has got to get an opportunity. And I think when he comes here, he'll be great.
And a scholarship player out of an FBS program as well, so it's a outstanding get for Eastern Washington. Another guy, same situation, comes out of San Jose State. That is Jesse Taylor.
Yeah, so Jesse's an interesting guy. I was down there in his area recruiting about 2.5 years ago, and then his whole team actually came here that summer, showed him around, really enjoyed the place and everything else. He ended up at San Jose initially, but when I got on the phone with him, when he got into the portal, hey, he was willing to come here and everything. He was all jacked up and ready to roll.
And you will need somebody to be able to step into that cornerback spot next year. One returning starter in Ambrose Marsh. Coach, thanks for the time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
That is cornerbacks coach Wes Nurse here with us. When we come back, the head man will join us. Aaron Best will be here as we continue with the, don't drop that, on the Eastern Football Coaches Show here on SWX. All right, this is the locker room at Eastern Washington University. Eagle Football Network refurbished this locker room, and so it's a big weekend for Eagle fans because we've got a player on each team. Efton Chisholm playing for New England. We've got Cooper Kupp with the Seahawks, and right now go online to eaglefootballnetwork.org/cup-giveaway and donate now to the Eagle Football Network. You can earn your chance to win this jersey, an authentic Cooper Kupp signed Seahawks jersey. You get 1 entry for every $10 you donate. The donation period will close at 10 a.m. on Friday, February 6th. Then a winner will be selected. The jersey will be overnighted to you, so you'll have it. If you have a Super Bowl party, you can show it off to your friends. If you don't want to, if you ensure you're not going to spill anything on it, you can wear it because you're going to want to put it in the frame at some point in time. All proceeds go to the Eagle Football Network, which then gives money to the Eagles football program to help support projects and needs within the program. That's eaglefootballnetwork.org/cup-giveaway to donate. And remember, the more donations, the more entries, the better your chance to win. And the Eagle Football Network, Coach Best, is very important to the Eagle program. They've done this, but they also help many other things within the football program.
Incredible people. And they all have Eastern ties before they got into the Eagle Football Network sector. A lot of those guys either played or had a hand in the operations of football. Some were just students that were friends of the football family. And so incredible people that do incredible things. We're very, very honored to be part of their fabric.
And we can't lose as a program because somebody's going to win a Super Bowl. Either
No
Coop or F is going to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, go Eagles.
So go Eagles.
Who are you rooting for, Larry?
You know what? I would like to see them both get touchdowns in the game. I'd like to see Afton in uniform, and if they both got touchdowns, then
who's winning?
I probably the Seahawks, but who's winning? I mean, who's winning? You're the football coach. You're
Eagles.
The one that knows what's
Eagles
going
winning.
on.
Someone's winning.
Somebody's going to win.
Somebody's winning.
There you go. All right, so the Eagles won this recruiting period, I would think. You guys are bringing in a lot of new players into this program, but also some experienced transfers who can really help add to the depth of this 2026 team that you've got coming up this fall.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, every time we have these conversations, whether I was a head coach or an assistant, you don't know what you have until they get here, until they get in a meeting, lift a college weight, or in part of the locker room atmosphere. So we're always giddy about the guys that we signed. And then the real work starts when they get here, and some of those guys will be here in spring. Some of those guys will be here in the fall. But we got a great class. I think we filled a lot of needs with a couple still to come here in the next couple months and or in the summer. So time will tell, but we feel good about the guys we have right now.
If you are adding anybody at a particular position, what are you wanting to add at this point in time?
Probably a specialist, possibly an offensive lineman, probably lend ourselves to a running back, and a couple probably defensive linemen. Those are kind of the areas, I wouldn't say of need, but as far as numbers are concerned, we probably need a few more guys to fill out some of those spots. But we want to get the right ones. We want to do our homework on those guys, be thorough in our process, and we've got a couple months before spring starts to be able to look into some guys. But if nothing is good enough for us as far as on and off the field, then we'll wait till after spring and then bring someone in the fall. But we've got a few needs, but those are probably the most glaring as far as the positions.
It just looks to me, as I looked at the roster and I look at the newcomers coming into this program, you've got a lot of competitive depth on this team, and spring practice is going to be very interesting to see how things shake out.
Well, last year we didn't have a ton of seniors that lost eligibility, and then this upcoming year we don't have a ton of seniors either that lose a ton of eligibility. So it was kind of a weird 2 years where a bulk of our guys are going to come back after 25, and then a bulk of those guys are going to come back after 26. So we were a lot of sophomore, junior laden last year, and a little bit of freshmen. A few freshmen played for us. So we're excited about the next couple years of those guys to be able to turn themselves into sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and kind of get back to the 2022 person senior class, if you will. And part of that class is obviously going to be portal driven, but having 15 to 16 seniors that were high school guys out of high school that did their 4 and 5 year journey here is important, and we're getting back to those stages.
All right, you have a little bit of change in spring ball this year. Last year you started during winter quarter, and this year you're going back to just spring ball in spring.
Yeah, we because, again, of the calendar, the way it works out, we're a quarter system. We don't start school until March 30th. We felt it was necessary as a coaching staff to be able to bring the guys, especially that we are getting introduced to this locker room and to this team, for them to get all 15 practices. In the last couple of years, we've kind of broken it up, and it's been really, really advantageous for us from the standpoint of bridging the gap of football prior to spring break and then football post-spring break. But we felt for this year and maybe going forward, it's a year-by-year decision. It's probably best that everybody involved in spring ball gets all 15 practices. So we'll see how it goes. It's kind of going back to where it was 3 or 4 years ago where We start spring in spring, but that just leads us to having the whole month of April essentially to practice, and then really our summer lift, if you will, starts in May instead of mid-April like it has the last couple of years.
One change in the Big Sky Conference schedule in 2026, you start with the conference game. No 3-game, 4-game run-up to conference. You're going to start right off at Northern Arizona, and you don't have any control in that, but it does add a challenge, I'm sure, to the program and all Big Sky Conference programs to start with a conference game.
I think it's kind of cool. I mean, camp's going to have a different tone to it, knowing that you're coming out of the gates playing a conference game instead of a non-conference game. So we'll be able to prep maybe a little bit sooner because it's a league foe as opposed to a team that maybe has a new offensive coordinator, new defense coordinator, or we're going to play one time and not playing for a long time. So it'll have a different flavor of camp. But that's the way the schedule had to work with the Week 0 games turned into the Week 1 games. The Big Sky Conference did a great job of manufacturing everybody's schedule to be able to play that league game, then hop into 3 non-conference games and then getting back into league. But no easy task in Flagstaff, as we all know.
Absolutely, Coach. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Congratulations on this signing class, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the spring.
Appreciate it. These guys did a great job bringing these kids in, and appreciate all the support along the way because it's a 365-day road in recruiting.
All right, so that is head coach Aaron Best. Again, eaglefootballnetwork.org/cup-giveaway to get on that Cooper Cup signed jersey, and you'll have it in your hands before the Super Bowl on Sunday. Thanks to all the assistant coaches here. As you see, the Inferno Roos Field home opener coming up that first weekend in September against Northern Iowa. Big Sky Conference opener coming up against Cal Poly at the end of September as well. Should be a fun football season at the Inferno. Get your tickets. Go online, goeags.com. Click on the tickets link and find out more information there. Thanks to all the coaches and our entire SWX crew. I'm Lary Weir. Thanks for watching the Eastern Football Signing Day Special here on SWX.